Did you know the French billionaire Bernard Arnault, who owns LVMH, the conglomerate that houses luxury brands such as Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Sephora, had applied for Belgium citizenship? And not only submitted once, but twice. Well, he could be the richest man in the world, but he was not that lucky for getting other nationality, because both applications were rejected. What makes this man so interested to become Belgium citizen, which is actually a country just next door to France? And what was the reason for his application were rejected by the Belgian authorities? Well, let's dig into it. First, just in case you don't know him, let me give you a short introduction. Bernard Arnault is the richest man in France. He is known in the business world as the wolf in cashmere for his ruthless tendency swallow up luxury brands. He was born in 1949 in Roubaix, a city in northern France, from a wealthy family and developed a fascination for his father's civil engineering company from the young age. He joined his father's company in 1972 and soon convinced his father to switch the company's focus to coastal real estate. And from this role, he crossed paths with former U.S. President Donald Trump in the early 1980s when they both worked in New York. So, how did he get the idea of conquering luxury brands? The answer is, from a taxi driver. One day, he was in the taxi in New York and had interesting conversation with the driver. And that would be his first linking of power wheel of the luxury brands. Once the driver told him that he had no idea who France's then president was, but he had heard of Christian Dior. I was fascinated that France has one name with international fame, Mr. Arnault later explained in speech to the student at the École Polytechnique in March 2017. When he found out Christian Dior company was for sale in 1984, he immediately bought it, and then other luxury brands followed. By 1990, he had taken control of Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy, or LVMH in shorts, an integration of aspirational brands including the fashion house Louis Vuitton, champagne maker Moet and Chandon, and the cognac producer Hennessy. The group has since expanded to incorporate other leading companies in fashion, fragrance, jewelry and watches, fine wines and spirits, and even hotels, including the London-based group Belmond, whose holdings boast the Cipriani Hotel in Venice and the Orient Express. Now we know how Bernard Arnault got his money from. So let's talk about the problem. What is the common problem for super rich people? Yep. It's the high tax. It started on 2012. The socialist François Hollande won France president election. This guy is kind of unfriendly to the wealthy society in France. He planned to impose 75% tax for anyone with income above 1 million euros. That's really a big tax. As you can guess, Mr. Arnault was not very happy to pay more tax. And then he came up with a plan about becoming Belgium citizen. Now you might be wondering why Belgium? Of course, it's not just because of the beer, chocolate, and moules frites. Under existing tax agreements, French citizens who move north qualify for the less onerous Belgian tax regime, whether they are Belgian or not. But Paris has indicated it wants to renegotiate this agreement. Under a 1960s agreement, French residents of tax-free Monaco still have to pay French taxes, but not so the Belgians. So, a Belgian passport may rapidly become a valuable commodity. In simple explanation, leaving for Belgium could be Arnault's first step towards acquiring citizenship in Monaco. As a Frenchman in Monaco, Arnault would still have to pay income tax, but he could avoid that if he drops his French nationality after becoming Belgian. Belgium has fiscal stability. In France, taxation changes all the time, and politicians play on announcements. That puts wealth at risk. However, unlike UK, who would roll a red carpet for foreign wealthy people who applying for British citizenship, Belgium does not give away easily its citizenship to anyone. Under the existing rules, would-be new Belgians must have lived in the country for 3 years, whether they are penniless Turks or French multi-billionaires. Unfortunately for Mr. Arnault, he didn't meet the requirement because he had been resided in Belgium only for 1 year. He also didn't get special treatment for the application process. He needed to wait like everyone else. More than 500 French citizens, mostly very wealthy, are waiting to hear if they can become Belgians. Applications have increased by 10% since François Hollande won the French presidential election. So, What happened with Mr. Arnault's Belgium citizenship application? First of all, many French people didn't like it. Left-leaning French daily Liberation News ran a photo of Arnault on its cover under the headline, Casse-toi, riche con, whose most polite translation is, Get lost, rich idiot. Mr. Arnault got very offended. He launched a lawsuit, but anyway, he resumed normal relations with the paper. He defended himself by saying he actually paid a lot of money to France, despite his company mostly making money outside France. I guess he just need to deal with the French people didn't like the idea of a taxpayer running to other country. And then second, the Belgians also didn't like it. The Royal Belgian prosecutor even opened a probe for his application about potentially falsely claiming Belgian residence. The prosecutor's office has passed its opinion to the Naturalization Commission of the Parliament, and it is negative because things got ugly. Mr. Arnault decided to withdraw his application. After application withdrawal, he agreed to pay an undisclosed amount of money to end proceedings without admitting guilt. And then after that, Brussels court ended its inquiry. The court refused to reveal the amount of the money, but the maximum fine for a false citizenship claim in Belgium is 3 million euros. But Mr. Arnault always knows how to stay rich, because a source with knowledge of the case said the sum was in fact in the tens of thousands of euros only. That's just little money for Mr. Arnault fat wallet. Well, I would say we need to appreciate the Belgians made it very clear that they cannot be bought. They prefer to give citizenship to a genuine Turk who opened a kebab shop in Brussels than to a billionaire who just want to run away from tax from his country. In the end, Mr. Arnault stated he withdraw his demand for Belgian citizenship, and that he would remain a resident in France and he would continue to pay his taxes there. So that's all for today. If you had any idea about topic to discuss in the next video, then let me know in the comment. Thanks for watching.